All right, let's dive into one of the world's oldest and most fascinating belief systems, Hinduism. Now, its followers often call it Sanatana Dharma, which means the eternal law. And really, it's less of a single religion and more like a massive collection of philosophies. So to get our heads around it, we have to start with its most central story, the journey of the soul.
First off, let's just appreciate the scale we're talking about. With over 1.25 billion followers, mostly in India, Hinduism is the third largest religion on the planet. But even with that huge following, its origin story is really different from other major faiths.
Yeah, you heard that right. There's no single prophet, no one person who started it all. Instead, Hinduism just sort of evolved. Over thousands of years, it wove together this incredibly rich tapestry of different beliefs, myths, and philosophies into one giant interconnected system. And that's why there's so much diversity within the faith itself. So, with all these different threads, what's the one thing that ties it all together? What's the main point, the ultimate purpose? It's a huge question, and the answer isn't some simple rule you can write down.
It turns out, to really get Hinduism, you have to follow the path of an individual soul on its epic, cosmic journey. This journey is the story that gives meaning to absolutely everything else.
So, let's start with the absolute basics. These are the fundamental ideas, the building blocks that you need to understand the whole system.
At the very heart of it all are two key concepts, Atman and Brahman. Think of the Atman as your eternal soul, that immortal little spark of you that exists inside every living thing. And Brahman, that's the big one. It's the ultimate, absolute reality of the entire universe, like a single cosmic ocean of consciousness. And here's the kicker. Your individual soul, your Atman, is just a single drop from that infinite ocean of Brahman. So the whole point of this cosmic journey is for your soul to find its way back home, for the little drop of Atman to dissolve back into the universal ocean of Brahman. But of course, it's not that simple. The soul is trapped here in the material world, caught in this powerful, repeating cycle.
And this cycle isn't random. It's driven by what you can think of as a three-part cosmic engine. It starts with dharma, which is your duty. Following your duty leads to actions, which create karma. And all that karma is the fuel for samsara, the endless cycle of rebirth. To get the journey, you have to get how this engine works.
So first up is dharma. Now this isn't just some generic command to be a good person. It's way more specific than that. Your dharma is your personal set of duties and responsibilities, and it's based on things like your role in society and your stage in life. Are you a student, a parent, a leader? Fulfilling that specific dharma is your main job.
Every single thing you do related to your dharma creates karma. This is the universe's ultimate law of cause and effect. If your actions are in line with your duty, you build up good karma. If you go against it, you get negative karma. And it's not just actions. Every word, every thought, it all counts. It all creates a ripple.
And all that karma you've built up is what fuels samsara, the great wheel of life, death, and rebirth. The idea is, when you die, your soul is reborn into a new body, and the circumstances of that new life, your health, your wealth, your social status, are a direct result of the karma from your past life. It's not seen as a reward or punishment, but just a natural consequence, giving the soul another chance to learn and evolve.
Okay, so if the soul is just stuck on this endless cosmic merry-go-round, how in the world does it ever get off? Well, that brings us to the final destination of this whole journey. The end goal is called moksha. This is the end game. It's total liberation. It's the moment the soul finally breaks the chains of samsara, steps off that wheel of rebirth for good, and achieves its ultimate purpose, to completely merge back into Brahman. That is the state of eternal bliss and freedom.
Now here's a really important point. Even though moksha is the ultimate spiritual goal, Hinduism doesn't say you have to reject everyday life. In fact, it outlines 4 perfectly legitimate aims. You got artha, the pursuit of wealth, and kama, the pursuit of pleasure and desire. These are considered totally fine, but they have to be guided by dharma, your sense of duty and morality. All 3 are basically tools to help you on the path toward the highest goal of them all, moksha.
But these big cosmic ideas, dharma, karma, samsara, they never just stayed in the realm of philosophy. For centuries, they shaped the very fabric of Hindu society, creating a social structure that was meant to be a mirror of this cosmic order.
So how exactly do you take a cosmic blueprint for souls and apply it to a social order for people? Well, in Hindu tradition, the answer for a very long time has been the caste system.
Traditionally, the system organizes society into four main classes, or varnas. At the top are the Brahmins, the priests and scholars. Then come the Kshatriyas, the warriors and rulers. Below them, you have the Vaishyas, who are the merchants and farmers. And finally, the Shudras, the laborers. And the crucial part is, your specific dharma, your duty in life, is determined by which varna you're born into.
And this is where the philosophy and the social structure lock together. According to the doctrine, being born into a certain caste isn't random. It's a direct result of the karma you accumulated in your past life. So the theological logic goes like this. If you perfectly fulfill the dharma of your current caste, no matter what it is, you generate good karma, and that good karma allows you to be reborn into a higher caste in your next life, getting you one step closer to moksha.
Now, to really understand what makes Hinduism's path to liberation so unique, it's super helpful to compare it with another major religion that actually grew out of the very same cultural soil, Buddhism.
The single biggest difference between them comes down to the most basic question of all: who are you? Hinduism is built on the idea of the Atman, an eternal, unchanging soul that journeys from one life to the next. But Buddhism comes along and proposes the idea of anatta, or no self. It completely rejects the notion of a permanent soul, arguing that what we call the self is just a temporary collection of qualities, and it's those karmic qualities that get reborn, not a soul. And as you can imagine, that fundamental disagreement about the self leads to two totally different end goals. For Hinduism, the goal is moksha, the individual soul, Atman, uniting with the universal reality, Brahman. For Buddhism, the goal is nirvana. It's not a union, it's an extinguishment, like blowing out a candle, snuffing out the flames of desire and illusion, which is what finally ends all suffering.
And the differences just keep stacking up. Hinduism has a whole universe of gods, all seen as different faces of the one ultimate reality, Brahman. Buddhism doesn't have a creator god at all. Hinduism's philosophy gave a theological reason for the caste system, which Buddhism completely rejected. And their paths are different. One is based on fulfilling your social duty, your dharma, while the other is focused entirely on individual effort through what's called the Eightfold Path.
So at the end of the day, it all comes back to this. You have these two ancient, profound traditions born from the same culture, offering two radically different answers to one of humanity's deepest questions. Is there an eternal, unchanging you at the very core of your being on a long journey home? Or is that very idea of a permanent self the final illusion that we all need to let go of to truly be free? It's a fundamental question, and it's one we're all left to think about.